Logic Pro's best plugin for insane rhythmic effects. In this video, we're going to take a look at it and I'm going to share with you some of my favorite tips and tricks. The step effects deep dive. Let's go. Okay, so let's open up Logic and I have a strumming acoustic guitar here just from the loop browser. Fairly basic, but say we wanted to do something a bit more experimental with that. So what I can do is bring in the step effects. You'll find it, by the way, under multi-effects and then step effects, stereo. And I'm going to initialize it. So put it back to the start. Okay, so first you've got these mod effects. This section, I'm going to run through left to right and then downwards. So this section here are all the effects, and then underneath here you have the step modulator. And the step modulator, this is the core of this plugin really. It allows up to 3 simultaneous step modulators working at the same time. So you can get some really interesting rhythms happening at different timings, at different rates. Yeah, it's really cool. So we'll look at that in a second, but let's first look at what effects we've got to play with. So you've got a mod effects here. So this is essentially a chorus. So very chorusy sound, add some delay. Now it's like a wider chorus. You can change the rate so it's faster. A bit crazy. And you've got the depth, so essentially just amount. Then you've got feedback, which is where it gets quite interesting. And then a mix dial, which is wet to dry, so or dry to wet. Dry. Cool, huh? So nice little kind of chorusy, flangery kind of effect there. Next, you've got the XY pad that you can assign things to. I'll come back to that when we've got a few more effects loaded up. But next, we've got the delay. And by the way, this is the order it runs in, and you can see that reflected down the bottom. You've got the gate, pan, filter, excited, dirt, mod effects, delay, and you can change these around. So mod effects could go at the start or delay could come later. When I turn them on here, like reverb for instance, then it will click on at the bottom. So next up we've got delay. So this is kind of just like a normal stereo delay. Okay, you can hear the delay there. You can change the cutoff. Change the mix. You can also have a filter change here. And you can change the left and right syncopation. So that's cool, you can play around with that, get some interesting delays. And let's go to the filter. Kind of a regular filter, just low pass to start off with, but you can change it here. The interesting ones down here, like the down sampler, the ring mod. Or you can do some notch filtering. You've got the mix dial as well. So you can have it running in parallel. Fairly self-explanatory, the filter, you've seen them all before. Just 2 different distortions here. You've got exciter, so kind of the brighter top end stuff. Hear that coming in, and then dirt. A bit more low mid and a bit more grungy. Cool, and then a reverb. You go quite big, and you're gonna have to turn the mix on. Get a very nice washed out sound if you've got both of these all the way up. Quite nice, and then you've got all these different rooms to choose from. You can do a reverse, which is always cool, and then also the space I like as well. That's the reverb. And then that is the last effect. You've just got a master here, which controls the input gain, the output gain, and then a mix if you want to blend it. So if you want to have it in parallel, you can. Now, if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed by all of these parameters and you just wish you had a step-by-step roadmap to finishing songs in Logic Pro, I've put a link to my complete beginner course in the description below. If you want to take the guesswork out of producing music in Logic, then check it out. So now we're going to take a look at the step modulator. You're allowed up to 3 of these on different parameters. And this is kind of where the magic comes in with this plugin. And let's start by turning on this first one here. So it's filter cutoff. This is the target. You can change the target here, so where you want it to go to. So filter cutoff is there, working on this bit here, filter. So the step modulator currently doesn't have anything in it, but you can start to draw things in like this and it will be its own pattern. So that's cool. So you can just start adding these in at random if you like. Or you can use the patterns here. So there are LFOs. Or there are some cool patterns like rolling. And then you change the depth basically, and that's going to change where it's acting on the filter in this instance. You've got the rate, so the speed, and you can swing it. And this here is like the amplitude envelope for it, so each of these has a different amplitude envelope you can apply. And there's presets here you can flick between. So that's quite cool. And you've got a few extra settings here like reversing it or inverting it or doubling things. So that's very cool. So we've just currently got one step modulator on, but you can actually have three. So turning on the gate mix here, and what I'm going to do is actually turn it to filter resonance. There we go. So now I've kind of got a syncopated rhythm going on here using one of the preset shapes. And you can see on the resonance here, that's what's being modulated. I want it to be less deep. So I've got the filter cutoff modulation happening and I've got the filter resonance modulation happening. And what I could do is add this final one, which is currently set to pan, and let's keep it as pan because I think that's quite easy to hear. And let's put on a different one. Let's go for alternate. So here, this is left and this is right. And you can hear that panning from left and right, hopefully. So I could make that a bit more slower. So get some quite cool wide effect happening there. So let's just load an actual preset. Let's go for a warped sounds. Let's go metallic shutters and let's have a listen to that. So yeah, you can get some really interesting sounds. You can tie notes, I should have said, down the bottom as well. So if you want to turn these on and off, you can just do that here and you can change the length. And as I mentioned at the start, there's also this XY pad here. So you can assign things to the X and assign things to the Y axes. So as I move this blue dot around, you can see it's changing these. So this allows you to do some really cool stuff. And to set this up, you just choose in here different effects, different outputs. I'm just choosing them at random. And then the depth is how much. So I'm just going to knock these all up to 100% for now. And they go two directional, they're bi-directional. It can either be positive or negative. So you can do some quite interesting modulations, and you can obviously automate this as well if you use the XY pads. You can come up with some interesting movement. The XLs are just adding movement to something, especially if you're doing electronic music and you want like a gated sound, you want a kind of on-off kind of sound, tremolo, all that kind of stuff is really good. So that's how I use the step effects. How about you? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, then YouTube thinks you'll like this one as well. See you on the next video. Take care.